So this video is going to be about accountability. I did put a post on Facebook and shared it to a few of the groups that I belong to. I'm not real sure how many people are seeing the things that I post on Facebook. I don't know if it's neither here nor there, so it doesn't matter, but I do put things out on social media when I am inspired to do so. I watched a movie, I guess it would be a movie. It's called The Great Awakening. It is on thehardwire.com. That might be correct. But I actually saw it from a Facebook post. And I did watch that, and it was very moving. It was definitely very moving. And when I watched it, I felt a lot of emotion. I felt, a lot of the human emotions. I felt a lot of pride. I felt a lot of responsibility. I felt a lot of different things. And so I made a couple of Facebook posts pertaining to the things that came up for me while I was watching that. I do recommend it. A lot of information in there that it's difficult. It's very difficult to face the things that have occurred on our planet, that we all have contributed to, and that's what this is about. This video is about accountability, and so I made a post about accountability and what that is. And accountability says that accountability is that we take credit or own our choices and the results of our choices. As I wrote it, it says that once you know what and whose you are, accountability takes on a new level or dimension. Yes. That means that accountability now states, I am a divine being having a human experience. It says, I can't experience anything that I don't call to myself or that I haven't agreed to. I can't experience anything I haven't called into my space of participation unless I have created it, agreed to it, in order to remind myself that I never left heaven, that I still sit at the right hand of God, that all of the power of God has been given me, and that I am always choosing what I will do with that power that has been given me. That's a lot. That means that we no longer blame anyone or anything that we believe to be outside of us, ourselves, to be outside of us for the situation, for the feelings that we have. This level of accountability means my feelings are mine. I'm responsible for those feelings. I have allowed those feelings or created those feelings within my awareness, my experience, to remind me to come back home here, to come back to the reality that the human experience is a limited experience. It is not the eternal reality of what we are. So, this level of accountability means when I'm having a bad day, I can't, in my mind, place the power of that on anyone else or anything else. I have to walk in the world, but not of the world. And that's what that means. It means that I take full responsibility for everything I experience. Because I know that the divine power given me says I can't have an experience that is not of my choosing. I cannot have an experience that is not of my choosing because I am a child of God and given the power of God through my inheritance. So, nothing can befall me that I have not already called into being or that I have not agreed to. No matter what that is, no matter what it is. So, this divine level of accountability is asking the human to remember and be aware that there are things occurring here that I may not be able to make sense of or understand how it's of benefit to me, or I may not remember agreeing to it. I can't maybe see the outcome down the road, but that I accept. Nothing comes into my awareness that I am not participating in. I am an active, willing participant, or it would not be in my awareness. So then the next level of that is that we must acknowledge that that is so for all of us. All of us. And this is how, when I talk about victimhood and not making victims of others and not making victims of ourselves. Because when we get to this level of accountability, we understand that everyone else has the same power and that all that I'm saying here is true for me and you and everyone else because we are all children of God. We all have been given the same power. We all have the same origin. And so this changes how we approach everything in life. So to be in the world but not of the world means that there are those people, brothers, sisters in God, who are going to look at me as the crazy, as the heretic, as the insane, as whatever, the weirdo, on and on and on. When I make these posts on social media, I don't get a lot of criticism anymore. I just don't know if anybody's seeing it. And that's okay, but I still have the responsibility of putting it out there as I'm inspired to do so. But once in a while, if I look back, because it'll seem like silence, like I'm not, I'll see other people's stuff, but I never get like, I'm sometimes curious why there are no conversations that occur around these things. And that's coming from an ego place, I guess, is like, I wonder why, nobody's saying anything. Well, it's probably better to have nothing said than something unpleasant. But every once in a while, I will get, like, I saw someone put like a crying face on one of the posts, and I thought, that's that I'm curious about that, right? So I suppose that there are a lot of people in the world that still don't understand or don't know what I'm talking about. So, there are many levels to this human experience. There are many layers. Yes, they say layers to the onion. There are many layers to the onion. But I need to speak on this accountability. I don't know what all the answers are going forward. My mind is kind of racing around, having watched The Great Awakening, and all of the emotions that I felt. And even when it was over, I actually said aloud, I was like, wow, that was really hard. It was really hard because it brought up a lot of feelings in my body. And that's necessary. I really appreciate, I'm so very grateful for those that put that production together. It was good information. It's definitely a benefit to us. And the reason I say that is because, everything that's in the world is based around someone's truth or opinion, or however you want to see it. And our truths are always evolving. What I hold to today as truth, it may not be the same tomorrow, or a week from now, or a month from now. And there are many reasons why I would make that statement. And I'll quickly refer to it this way. As consciousness is being raised on our planet, as we are awakening, as so many of us use that term, as we are remembering things that we forget as we incarnate into human form, as we're remembering all that we knew before we incarnated into human form and went through the forgetting, okay, due to the low vibration or the density on the planet. As we emerge into a more elevated consciousness, what we know as truth will continue to evolve, because our ability to process information, our ability to see more multidimensionally, our ability for our minds to be expanded enough to understand more than just compartmentalized knowledge, okay? As that occurs, what we call truth is going to evolve, because, as I said, there are many layers, and for our human minds to be able to absorb, it's not really the right word, it's not really absorb, it's and it's not process. Assimilate, maybe assimilate all of the information. What we think of as truth will become more clear, more true, more whole, more whole. Right now we can pick pieces of truth, but to understand the whole is not going to be common for the majority of the people here at this time. So that's the next aspect, is for those of us who may be, it's going to sound bad, but I'm going to say it, who may be a little bit further ahead on the path as far as open-mindedness goes, or open-mindedness. Those of us who are striving to let go of judgments and labels and belief systems and structures that have kept our focus so small. It is very important for us to remember that we're all on a different stage of the journey. We're all on a different rung of the ladder, except it's not really a vertical ladder, it's horizontal. None of us are better than anyone else, though our understandings might be a little more evolved than others. But it's really, really important for us to remember that the struggles are real. My husband reminded me the other day, and I found myself, I found frustration building within the body. So yes, I found myself, my small self, frustrated because he reminded me where most people are. He said, well, what do we do? What do we do if we have no military? What do we do if, we get invaded, or we get invaded? Someone comes and tries to take over. And I became immediately triggered and frustrated, because my understanding of the way things are is different. And so as soon as I felt the frustration, I was like, oh yes, I see you. I see you. And even though, thankfully my husband is a wonderful person, and